The virtual CISO moment is brought to you by vCISO Services, a leading provider of quality and experienced virtual chief information security officers for small and mid-sized businesses. Check them out at vcisoservices.com. Hi, I'm Greg Schaefer, and welcome to the Virtual CISO Moment. We are here at Montreat College at Retreat, and we are here with Joe Jakubilski. Joe, thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks, Greg. I appreciate it.
So give us a little bit of your background. What is it that you do, and how did you get to where it is that you do?
Well, I appreciate you asking. It's great to be here. It's just an exciting atmosphere with all these cyber professionals. So I have to say,
and all the students too.
And
yeah,
a lot of students. Yeah, I'm a little distracted, but I am new to the industry. So I've pivoted from a career in marketing and advertising as an entrepreneur, and recently. I entered the Montreat Academy program, which is at the Carolina Cyber Center, which was recently in addition to the cyber program at Montreat. And the Cyber Defense Analyst program is what I was engaged in, and it's a year-long program, part-time. I was able to continue my other projects and other work while I learned about security and obtained some certifications, and basically from that point, I was asked to stay on at the Cyber Center to help with marketing and security awareness in the community. So that's what my focus is.
Oh, okay. So you're actually the first person that I've spoken to who both have gone through the program and also works at the Cyber Center, although the Carolina Cyber Center, although we did have on earlier this week, we had on I'm drawing a blank, and I just spoke with him. He was your former director.
Adam Bricker?
Adam Bricker, yes. Adam, I'm sorry.
Well, I have Adam to thank. He's very exciting to work with and to be, the benefit to have Adam as an instructor at some points as well in my journey. And yeah, Adam asked me to join shortly before he left, and it's been a great ride so far. It's amazing to see, what we've been able to do in a short period of time.
So, give me an example of one of the things that you've been able to do in a short period of time.
Well, we haven't really had a direct outreach to the local business community, and we planned a cyber series in August. It was great. We had basic and fundamental information that we're trying to share with small and really micro-sized businesses, folks that maybe have one or two people in addition to themselves. So we drew in nearly 100 people over the course of the series and made some great engagements to help people learn how they can protect themselves with some really simple things.
Yeah, and certainly I know small and mid-sized businesses, they have such a they're sometimes at such a disadvantage because they're small and they don't have the sometimes the resources or the people on staff. That's part of the reason why we do the virtual CISO stuff as well too. But what would you think would be like since you work with small and mid-sized and micro businesses, what would you think would be like one of the greatest threats out there to them right now?
Well, it's probably the fact that they really don't know what we think they know. By that, I would say, if we take a look at our Cybersecurity Awareness Month, which is coming up in October, right?
Yeah.
Which is the 19th year. Take a look back at details from last year's reporting. Some of the surveying that was done indicate that still almost 50% of the people don't know what multi-factor authentication is.
That's amazing.
Yeah. So we took, and when I say basic and fundamentals, that's the basic and fundamentals that we drew down to, so that we would make sure MFA is enacted, that they're using strong password, they have a password policy, or perhaps using a password manager, things of this nature, but doing it in a way with no jargon and unassuming, just making it easy for them to access. Like, hey, come have a sandwich, lunch and learn in our classroom, and we had some vendors on join us to be available to share information for some of the folks that needed more technical help, that had larger organizations. So it was a great mix.
I think that's a good mix too, that you don't see too much, like with your marketing background and now with your cyber background, to be able to mix the two together. Do you have any stories or any thoughts about how your marketing background is actually helping you with this outreach?
Well, it definitely, from a not being able to walk up to business owners and engage them about a sensitive subject, I think from my entrepreneur background and asking for business directly, that's been a big help. The marketing certainly has come into play every step of the way to try to get the word out and engage online and use all the sources that we can, including like local chambers of commerce.
Right. Yeah. So you're working for the Carolina Cyber Center, and you also what was your concentration when you went through the program as far as cybersecurity goes?
Well, it's a very general cyber defense analyst program. So it's really designed to give someone who has little or no security or technical expertise to entry level skills and knowledge that can be grown from there into that 1 year kind of period of part-time. So it included network, like certification. I obtained Net Plus, Sec Plus. There was a network. I think we used the ITF curriculum originally, kind of the foundations.
It's certainly a diverse field. There, when I started out they didn't even call it cybersecurity. In fact, I don't even know if we called it information security. I always joke that we didn't have red team or blue team or anything like that. We had troubleshooting, and that's we just tried to make things work and tried to make things to the point where people couldn't stop things from working. But it's become such a diversified industry now. Are you thinking about maybe going into like one particular part of it, like threat hunting or anything like that?
So I do have a drive to learn more technically. So I haven't necessarily been a hands-on keyboard all the time kind of person. So learning on the technical side, getting into Linux and learning more about that, just incredible. It opened up it felt like multi-universes, of all this information. I really, based on everything I know now, I probably would fall in more in the governance category, although I want to have a little more technical expertise.
Yeah, I think it's good to have a really good mix of the technical and the governance. And I started out on the technical side, on the networking side, and then, I'm pretty much loving the governance, but I'm still keeping my technical side. The main recording here is actually a Linux laptop, so it's like I trust Linux. Of course, it's running on an old Dell box, so it's like if I tried to put Windows on this thing, it would just crow.
Right.
Well, it's pivoting a career has got to be in some ways a little bit stressful, although you're not totally pivoted because you're doing marketing for the Carolina Cyber Center. But even that and then being in cyber can be stressful. I'm not saying that other fields aren't, but certainly there can be some aspects about cyber that can be really stressful. What do you do to decompress?
Yeah, that's a great question. I luckily have the great support system at home with the family. A couple of my children still live with us, so spending time with them and getting involved in their activities is while it can raise stress in some ways with family issues and children, there's a great deal of joy that I derive from being involved. I also, I take my faith life seriously. I practice my faith, so by doing that and making sure that I kind of remember there's bigger things than me and my little problems or what I perceive as big problems. So I think that helps me keep things cool.
I always like to let people know when it does come up that everything that I've done as far as the being a virtual CISO, that was for me a faith journey. It's like I had always had somebody else pay my paycheck, and I like to eat, and I was scared and all that. But if God can provide for the birds, certainly He can provide for me. So I think it's important to continuously center on that and understand the why you're doing it. And I'll be even more transparent now. This is the first time that I've brought the podcast on the road, so to speak, and you are my first one. So
all right.
I just, when I left the hotel this morning, I'm like, God, I've done everything. Please, I just ask for your blessing and your influence and your everything, and so far so good.
Well, it's great that you feel that way too, because and it's absolutely why I'm sitting in your chair as your first guest, because I believe that God places where He needs us and where He wants us to in fact work out His plan. So that's what I'm working on.
Well, listen, Joe, it's been an absolutely fabulous time. I appreciate you stopping by the table, and thank you so much for joining in.
I'm so glad I met you.
Me too. And everybody else, stay secure.